What's going on, guys? Alex here with 814 EDC, and today I'm ready to do my full review on the WE Knives Beacon. So this is one of two that came in from the Apex passaround group, the other one being the Civivi Synergy 3. You guys will probably be seeing the review on this in the video after this one. I had to get these two reviewed. I held on to them probably for a little bit longer than I should have, just due to me not having a whole lot of time to film. But we're gonna bust out some reviews today for you guys to see over this weekend. So diving right into materials for the Beacon. This is a cool knife, guys. I really do enjoy it. I have enjoyed carrying it. Right off the bat, if you guys have seen my SNCC video, I like this knife more than the SNCC. I think it's a better value when you're talking price and materials and stuff like that. Very similar materials, but I think there's a little bit of a price gap. We'll get to that in the my sort of final category that I like to talk about. But obviously this is a full titanium knife. You have this nice sort of just plain blasted tie. You have a loop over style deep carry titanium clip, which I don't mind, but I kind of wish that there was more of a premium milled 3D clip on here. Very similar to the SNCC. You're paying for a $200 plus knife. I think they can, because basically they're taking the Civivi clip. I don't know if you guys are going to see that or not. They're taking the Civivi clip and they're just making it titanium, which yes, it does class it up a little bit, but still I think this knife would benefit tremendously from a milled titanium clip. I know when Kevin, my buddy left EDC, he had his Beacon in, he took a Finch titanium clip that was milled and put it on there, and it looked really, really good. So just a thought. But the clip is reversible for lefties, which is good. You obviously have a flipper tab here, very WE-esque flipper tab. You have a fuller, which is very nice here. You have a full flat ground, not a full flat ground blade, but almost 80% because you have the fuller cut in here, but nice and decently thin. Comes down to a nice edge. This is 20 CV. You guys are always, it's always so tough to see WE's little marking right there, but this is a bead blast, and I don't really like bead blast from WE. I don't know why. It seems like they don't do satin grinds. They either do a bead blast or a stonewash. I'd prefer a stonewash over a bead blast just because I'm not the biggest fan of a bead blast, but it is what it is. I'm really not sure why WE doesn't do satin grinds very often. Just not really sure. I know Kevin complains about that a lot too. But overall aesthetic, I think this knife looks really, really nice. It flows very well. It's very simple in my opinion. But I thought my watch turned off there. Just overall a nice blade shape, very simple and just a nice drop point. For skeletonizing and milling, there is none. But even with that, the knife is very lightweight. Yes, would milling help reduce the weight a little bit? Of course it would. That's always a helpful thing, I think, on knives. But in my opinion, the knife, is that a weight that it might not need it? So I'm okay that they didn't do it. Would I've liked to see them? Maybe, but it is what it is. You have a lock bar insert right there. This is obviously a frame lock. You have some milling there, which is nice, and a little bit of the same milling right here for a little bit of texture. This is on bearings, and I think that is all for materials. So overall, just sort of a plain Jane model, but I really enjoy it. I really like how it looks. So you can get these in these sort of just plain tie. You can get it in like a darker black tie, and then you can get it in a like blue anodized tie, which really looks really good. And I think you can get all of those models with like a darker stone wash that almost looks like a kind of, not a DLC, but more of a blacker blade. And these models go for $200, and the I think there's just the black tie, I believe, that goes with a Damascus blade, which is like $550. I don't know why they charge so damn much for their Damascus steels and stuff like that. Not worth it at all in my opinion, but that's what's on the website. I will leave a link to White Mountain Knives where you can find this on the website down below. This specific model is sold out, but if you get to this model, you can easily get to the other configurations of it and stuff like that. And I just like using White Mountain Knives because they have a lot of good products. and they're the best, I think, because they offer a 10% discount code, which other knife retailers don't, but that's beside the point. So next up, we're gonna jump into action. And obviously, like I said, this has a flipper tab, also with a fuller, so you can do some middle finger flicking and some thumb flicking action. We'll start with the flipper. It's very, Wii style of flipper. It works well. They have jimping where you need it to, because some flippers tend to only have jimping like up top here, and they don't put it very, too much in the front. This has enough to get some good leverage on it. Just pop it out like that, very snappy. Now I will say I did tighten the pivot down, because as I had it in and I was using it, so when I got it, it had a tiny bit of blade play, but the more I was carrying it and the more I was fidgeting with it, because I fidgeted with this knife quite a bit, it's a lot of fun to play with, the pivot got looser and looser, and I just wanted to tighten the pivot down a little bit to make sure that there's no blade play, which there is none. It's very solid, and you can still get very good action. Definitely a shake shutter. I mean, it drops to your nail, and then you just shake it closed a couple times. It's very smooth, and I'm sure if you took it apart, you clean it all up, because this is a pass-around knife. It has been done some other people before me. I'm sure there are some, there's some gunk and grime in there. So I'm sure if you cleaned it up, took it apart, cleaned it up, put some KPL on there and stuff like that, it'd be really, that much smoother. But as is, I think it's smooth enough. I mean, you can see right there, drops to my nail. This has cut me on my cuticle numerous of times. The middle finger flick action is very nice too. The beacon is very similar to another model they just came out with, which is the Subjugator. It's a little bit more boxier as compared to this being more kind of rounded off, and it has thumb studs instead of the fuller. I think I like the looks of this better, just because I think fullers look really good. I don't mind thumb studs, but fullers just kind of blend in with the knife itself, and they're very, very functional, as you can see. I have no trouble at all getting the middle finger flick down. Thumb flick kind of is hard, because you're kind of pressed on the lock bar, and that's one thing that I have not been able to really do very well with fullers, is the thumb flick. I mean, you can get it, but you kind of have to go like, because when you have thumb studs, you can kind of go at like an angle. With the fuller, I found you have to go more of like a straight word, like out. That didn't make sense. You have to go straight out to get it to fire, because if I go like on an angle, well, I got it that time. It's just kind of hit or miss, but it hurts your thumbs a little bit after a while, in my opinion. So definitely the thumb flick is where it's at. The thumb flick. The middle finger flick, clearly I am not fully awake yet, guys. But the flipper works really well too. Can you fail it? Yes, you can. But it's hard to, in my opinion. As long as you're just gonna pull it out of your pocket and whack it open, it's gonna work very, very well. So that is action. Next up, on to Ergos. And Ergos are very, very well done in this knife. It's just, you have a very straight back here, it kind of tapers off in the back. And then you have this finger groove, and then it's basically the same up here, or same as up here. It just, nice and straight, and then it tapers a little bit back here. You have a very nice choil. And overall, it's a pretty thin knife, not very thick at all. And I can really get a good grip on here. It just fits my hand so well. I have enough room with a little bit hanging off to get 4 fingers on there. And then you move up into that choil. You have some jimping up top there. You move up into that choil, and you just get really good control. If you're doing any precise cuts, or you have to be very, diligent with what you're doing, you can just get a phenomenal grip up here, and I really like that. The pocket clip is a little bit of a hot spot, again, because it is a loop over style deep carry clip, and Civivi and Wii clips tend to kind of stand a little proud of the knife scales with their loop over style clips, just how it goes. So when I'm, choked back here, I can definitely feel it on the edge of my fingers. It's not terrible, because unless you're really torqued down, like really, gripping this knife in like a life or death situation, you're not gonna, be that annoyed by it. And then when you choke up here to the choil, as I like to talk about in other videos, you move up on the clip to where you don't have that much space in between the clips, so it's not as hot spotty. Definitely more comfortable that way, but it's nothing to, complain about that much when you're choked back like this. It's just I'm trying to give you guys a good representation of the knife, and to me, I felt it a few times, but it's not horrible. So I've definitely felt worse. But yeah, Ergos are good. You know, the titanium is, excuse me, nicely chamfered all over the place. There's no, you know, sharp edges or anything like that. It's just, it's well done. Like I said, I really like this knife. It's a good knife by Wee. It hits a lot of the boxes for me, and I'm glad that I got to check it out from the group. It's, you know, a huge perk of being in the group is getting to check out, you know, knives and stuff like that that you're normally not going to buy, or you know, you just can't afford at the time. So it's really, really nice. I'm really thirsty this morning. But next up is carry. And obviously, I've said it multiple times now, you have a loop over style deep carry titanium clip that goes to the butt end of the knife. Might even be a little bit past the butt end of the knife. So it carries very, very well. It is not a huge knife. You know, it's relatively lightweight for being a full titanium knife. You know, it sits in pocket. You do have the flipper tab down here. So if you're in your pocket, you might be kind of, you know, grabbing, the jimping might grab a little bit of your skin, but it's not sharp enough to where it's probably going to cut it. You're probably just going to bounce right off of it. I never have that issue because I don't, you know, the only thing I carry in my front right pocket are, or is my phone and my knife. I don't ever put change in there. It also, you know, if I have change, it goes in another pocket. But I'm sure there are some of you that, you know, just free drop stuff, chapstick, coins, you know, maybe a sack, you drop that into your front right pocket, wherever you carry your knife, and you're going to be down there. So I just always like to give that kind of a, you know, perspective. You will have this to look out for, but the rest of the knife, like I said, is all chamfered and, you know, contoured very nicely, and it carries very, very well. You know, for being a 3.5-inch blade, which to me is a full-size knife in my opinion, because I tend to stick, you know, anything above 3.5 inches I tend to not really go for. 3.5 is kind of my, you know, ceiling length, and to me this is full size, but the overall package is not very big at all. It carries very, very well. You don't even really know it's there. The pot clip, as much as I would like a milled titanium clip, you cannot, you know, disgruntle the knife and the loop over style clip for its deep carryability, because that is just so nice. And I am glad that they decided to put a, you know, make it titanium instead of just making it steel, because, you know, I could very well see them getting, you know, getting done with the knife, getting it designed, and them going, oh, we need a pot clip, and then just taking, you know, a steel pot clip from a Civivi knife, and making it the same color as this titanium, and then calling it a day. But it is nice that they made it this titanium clip. And I think on the snick, it was also a titanium clip, which is nice. So yes, carries very, very well. So that leads me to my final category of price point and what I recommend this knife. According to White Mountain Knives, if I can get my computer on here, I just pulled up the page. Turn this on. All right, so these go for $199.75. That is all of the blue, the plain tie, and the dark tie, and then the bead blasted blade with the like darker stonewash blade too. Those all go for $200. And then, like I said, the Damascus steel or Damascus steel one goes for like $568 or something like that. I'm not even gonna really talk about that because I think that's an overpriced, horrendous, you know, not a horrendous knife, but I think it's a horrendous price for that knife. I don't understand how they can get off on, you know, charging that much for it, but you know, it is what it is. I think $200 for this knife is a great price. What I don't understand is the snick, which I had in, you know, previously, is 20 CV. This has 20 CV. It's a flipper. This has a flipper. This has a fuller. That doesn't, or that didn't. But you had enough blade space so you could middle finger flick it with enough pressure. That was a titanium frame knife with like G10 inlays. This is full titanium. I just don't get how you can charge $240 for that when you're only charging $200 for this, because in my opinion, the full titanium knife should be more expensive than a titanium and G10 knife, because G10 tends to be cheaper than titanium. So I'm not really sure how they got to the price point on that. I did like that knife a lot. I just didn't think the price point was worth it. I think I even said in my review, this, you know, should be around a $200 mark. And if anything, this should be at the $240 mark. Like, they should flip prices. But at $200, I think this is a great deal. I mean, you're getting titanium, you're getting a 20 CV blade, you're getting a very solid action. You know, once you break it in, it's very fun to play with. Very ergonomic, very comfortable to use. Nice long, just utilitarian blade shape. I mean, this thing would be a phenomenal work knife. It's like I said, it's very comfortable. It's not very heavy. It's lightweight for what it is. Carries very, very well. You know, if you wanted to dress it up, you could always get a aftermarket clip for it. But like, I think this is kind of blending that sort of line of beauty and bronze, because this is a knife that if I was out, you know, working at a construction site or something like that, and I saw someone pull this out and use it, I wouldn't be, you know, I wouldn't be shocked. But then I also wouldn't be shocked if I was, you know, out at a really nice restaurant and, you know, kind of a dressier, you know, place, and I saw someone pull this out to cut something. Wouldn't be shocked at all. So I think it fits a lot of boxes, and it's very usable for a lot of different situations, and I have to applaud Wii for that. I really did enjoy this, and I think that it is a great knife. I know they've been coming out with a lot lately, but it's a good knife, and you can see I haven't flicked it for a little bit, for a little while, but you can see the more I play with it, the more droppy it gets. So like I said, some KPL would go a long way with making the bearings go a little bit smoother, but as it is, I've really enjoyed it, and I'm glad I got to check it out. So that was my full review on the Wii Knives Beacon. Thank you so much to the Apex Passaround group for you know, getting this in the group. Thank you to Wii and Civivi for giving it to the group. I appreciate all the companies that like to provide to us and give us stuff to check out. It's really, really cool. It's how the group, you know, kind of runs, so, and how it keeps going. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any comments on the Beacon, please leave them down below. Overall, I think I did a pretty positive review on it. But yeah, let me know what you think. I love reading you guys' comments. So thank you so much. Please consider clicking subscribe if you guys have not yet done so. It would mean the world to me, and I really just want to see our family grow. So thank you guys again so much. I think that's the third time I've said it in the last minute, but I really do appreciate you guys, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.